let's talk to our very good friend, Stephen Yates, who you all know very well, senior fellow at America First Policy Institute and chair of the China Policy Initiative. All right, Steve. So he's from what I was reading, this is like one of the first. It's like with the BRICS group. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're all meeting. This is like one of the first meetings that they've had since the COVID lockdown. It's a 3-day trip. And it seems, especially with some of these other governments in South Africa that are a little bit more authoritarian in nature, it seems like there might be a more receptive audience for Xi Jinping and China. It seems like this is also kind of related to like a little Belt and Road initiative. What is the purpose of his trip today?
Well, it is conspicuous because Xi Jinping has not taken the opportunity to leave China very often.
Right.
And in fact, his country is a little bit on fire right now. So it's a little bit risky to leave the country lest they lock the door behind you while you're abroad. But going to South Africa very much is a play at this alternative world order, trying to get more countries to join this so-called BRICS initiative. Now, the offer is that we won't bark at you about human rights, but we might exploit your people and take your capital away just a little bit, but no complaints there. In fact, there's really no force on the planet that is exploiting African resources and people right now more than is the People's Republic of China. So definitely welcome Xi to South Africa to talk that up. But really, it's bloviating in some ways. It's political theater. I think that this BRICS initiative, using a currency other than the U.S. dollar as a reserve, these are things that we shouldn't just brush off as a joke. But really, they're not serious if we're serious, and that's the real problem. We're not serious right now. So it's interesting that he's leaving. His property market is having a bubble burst. He's got a demographic problem. He's got all kinds of security problems at home. So why not take a trip? Kind of the opposite of our president. When all's going badly, he takes a vacation. She just goes to South Africa.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Talking with our friend Stephen Yates, you can find him on Twitter at YatesComs, because I think the last time that he left was in March to visit, his words, his dear friend, Vladimir Putin. That's kind of a terrifying sentence. So he hasn't, as you said, he hasn't really, because they have their shrinking population. Their economy is not doing great. It's like he's trying to get, it seems like he's also trying to get, oh, here's some good press about me. Look at the stuff I'm doing for the folks at home.
Yeah, it shows how well received he is when he goes out around the world. Whether he's stoking nationalism at home with weird propaganda fire drills about Taiwan, or whether it's his wolf warriors barking about America as if we're picking a fight with them. If only. I mean, I'd have loved to have picked a fight with these guys for the last 30 years, but it's really mostly been kid gloves. It's a little bit of a joke, but it's not a joke because right now the U.S. is the joke around the world, courtesy of weakness from the Afghanistan withdrawal forward.
And he touched on that in, this was from one of their mouthpieces, that he wasn't trying to outcompete America in the existing liberal international order, but to really change the world order into one that's more, focused for Southeast Asia. And it makes sense for China to engage with the global South, and saying that there's been this absence of the traditional global governance system, which is out of order and incapacitated. And according to their ambassador to South Africa, Chen Jiadong, was saying that, the international community is eagerly looking forward to, BRICS playing the leading role here.
Absolutely. Making the world safe for concentration camps and low quality medical goods going out to poison you when you were sick, and unfair trade that takes your capital to make their elites rich in the name of egalitarianism. It's all awesome. I'm sure the world can't wait for this carnival popcorn to come to their town.
Yeah, and in the meantime, what is our administration, actually doing to kind of offset some of this? I had a piece where they were they're looking to sign some kind of understanding with Vietnam. This was actually Politico signed a strategic partnership deal with Vietnam in the latest bid to counter China in that particular region. It opens the door to closer diplomat. It's a piece of paper that says we're going to talk more.
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit going on with Vietnam. We have a little bit going on with Japan and Korea, all of which is at the urging of the Asian partner. It's not as if the Biden administration woke up with a brilliant idea and pulled reluctant partners to the table. It's that these players in Asia, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, you could add Taiwan and others to the list, are begging for, hey, can we do something together? Because the US is gone bonkers while the world is on fire. They're praying to the sun god in the name of climate change when we know it's commie ships and bullets that are coming for us and technology coming to degrade our economy. And there's nothing about climate change that's going to fix that.
Do you think that the summit that they had with the Japanese Prime Minister and the South Korean President just over the weekend, do you think that that went well? I feel like he just looked confused. Biden looked confused, and everything that I saw, it didn't give me high hopes for him acting with more clarity behind doors.
Well, a rational person should find nothing really positive to come out of it other than, yeah, these two foreign powers that are concerned about China decided to come and make a symbolic move here in the United States. I'm not against summitry. I'm just against believing summitry is the same thing as action.
Yeah.
And I don't think that China is actually deterred by summitry. I think they're perfectly fine having people wine and dine and walk in the woods at Camp David and have a president walk away forgetting to turn off his earpiece and forgetting to shake their hand, and walking down the wrong trail, whatever. They're just happy to be there. So,
So bad.
did that deter China? I really doubt it. I mean, as bad as Xi Jinping is, he knows how to actually get on the stage and shake the right hand and engage in the theater. He's evil, but he at least knows what he's doing on the performance art.
Oh goodness! Now we talked last week about the Taiwan leadership that the vice president, the stopover, because you can't say it's a visit. It was a
Yeah.
stopover on his way to Paraguay, and so now, like clockwork, the Chinese military launched drills around Taiwan. That's what they do every single time. Well, he went somewhere, or there it looks like it could have been a visit. We're going to have military. Let's have another drill. They did something we don't like. Let's have another drill. I mean, it really. I mean, it's. Do people take it seriously? Do you think? I mean, they see this, and it doesn't seem like it's an increase in aggression. It just is like more of the same from them.
Well, I think the people of Taiwan are largely numb to it, and people can criticize them for that, but they've been living with this
For
threat for
decades.
a long time. And if they worry themselves about it, worry isn't the same as action either. And it doesn't get the United States to sell them what they need. It doesn't get Japan to do more that would help. And so there's no amount of worry or protestation that they could do to make a difference. So they live with it. Does it move the Chinese people? I mean, these are some of the most propagandized and manipulated and controlled people on the planet. Does one more propaganda exercise move them? Probably not. The kind of comical part of it, and our people, our leaders, so called in entertainment and otherwise, do nothing to make a cartoon out of the mocking the silliness of, oh, we're engaging this drill because we're going to deter Taiwan. Deter Taiwan from what? Being? Taiwan didn't do anything. They didn't have a military exercise. They didn't launch an attack. They didn't even threaten an attack. What exactly are you deterring? And we have in the West this deep well of creativity that can't do anything like the Babylon Bee back at China for being so remarkably stupid.
Let me ask you this, talking to our friend Stephen Yates. We got the debate coming up, the GOP primary debate this Wednesday. And I'm not quite sure yet how much of a focus will be on any kind of foreign policy or with China at all. I mean, nobody has a heads up about anything yet. But obviously, China and Taiwan are watching. So this is kind of like a two-part question. How long is Taiwan, in your estimation, content with this vague recognition but not recognition of its sovereignty by the United States? And if we do end up having a Republican administration in 2024, how do you China's behavior, which has been more aggressive lately, is that going to cease, or what will their reaction be?
Well, it's a little bit of a Yogi Berra-like answer. Nothing changes until something changes. And so if we don't have a new policy and we don't have new actions, why would behavior in Taiwan change? Why would behavior in China change? They've lived, both sides, with this game, this charade for a long time. They've each in their own way tried to seek advantage. I would argue that Beijing's gotten the greater advantage over the years. But until we show that we're serious and our allies would likely bandwagon with us if we did, if we spoke the truth, recognized reality, I think there would be a bandwagon effect. And that would increase deterrence against China. But if I'm Taiwan, why would I stick my neck out to get smacked like a whack a mole unless I have some assurance that Uncle Sam is going to at least let me be me? That's even short of saying, well, Uncle Sam, come and save my bacon. It's just let me be me. And this is the only democracy on the planet that we say, nope, nope, we got to play a word game.
Yeah.
We're too busy playing a charade, hoping that a blood dripping fanged commie doesn't come eat you. But we're going to keep playing this game.
I like that. The blood dripping fanged commie. That's a Halloween costume. We need to make a note of that for sure. Stephen Yates. Well, we're going to see what happens with the because that I mean that I hope that issue comes up because as much as we
It
talk
should.
about Russia and Ukraine, I mean you and I mean we've established this. I mean our agreement is that China is the absolute biggest threat that's on the planet. I'm very curious to see if that's covered at all in any kind of question in this debate. It seems like it should be one of the first things out of the moderator's mouths, but we'll
I
see.
think the voters are there. The questions should be there too.
Exactly. That's a good point. Stephen Yates at Yates Comms. Always so good to talk with you. Thank you for your perspective. As always, my friend. We're grateful.
Thank you, Dana. Take care.